Hey YouTube, I'm Brick Smith, and welcome to Forever Sorting, the episodic story of my fine co-host, Kevin, artist Hinkle, and his time with the Lego Group all those many years ago. Kevin, well,
I mean, almost 2 years at this point.
Good. So let's see. How are you, Kevin?
I was like, what is it?
I'm watching the counter because folks, I can't remember if I set this to private while we record.
I think you're okay. I haven't gotten any alerts or anything.
Fingers. Oh, there it went. No, I'm kidding.
Well, welcome back, everybody. I'm doing okay.
You are.
I am staying busy like none other. On the off chance, I'm trying to think of the people that normally listen to our show. If any of you guys who listen to the show have reached out to me about a commission or a freelance project,
are you really?
Some of them have, but not. I think a lot of them don't listen to the show. But keep in mind, or I should say, PSA. I did a couple of days ago. I did a deep dive into my email inbox, cleaned up a lot of stuff, deleted some old messages, got rid of some stuff that I already had done and needed to archive. And I once again and kind of recalibrated my to-do list because I have a to-do list that's next to my desk.
I have seen this list. It's obnoxious.
And it's the order in which I get commissions and stuff. So I'm currently sitting on about 25. I have 25 projects in queue. And so, and I get it. I know people usually when they reach out, they're really excited because they have something in mind that they want to make happen. But 25, we're talking months. We're talking months to chew through that because every project's different. And some of the projects are not just one thing. Some of them are like, I'd like a logo and I'd like a sig fig drawing and I like this and I like that. And that could be 20 hours, 30 hours worth of work. And all of that, of course, as you guys are well aware, is on top of me streaming this show with Julian, me doing my 2 streams every week, which is 6 hours in total, homeschooling responsibility. So I am keeping very busy. I am incredibly thankful for everybody who is throwing work my way. I really do appreciate it. I wish I could do it faster. I wish I could chew through it faster than I do, but it's definitely keeping me busy, Julian.
And I would like to say that other than having to work 12-hour shifts, my wife is being lovely and letting me rest and not do a damn thing when I'm not at work. She didn't even bother me about the trash.
Well, good stuff.
She's got it. She's working from home and taking care of the 3-year-old.
I know how all of this is. So, but yeah, hopefully all of you guys are doing okay. Continuing to stay well,
COVID free,
stay healthy, and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, welcome back. For anybody that's been listening through the whole tale, you guys know I'm not just throwing it out for dramatic effect. I'm not trying to drum up some fake interest, but we are truly near the end of this tale. We were just talking before this that I could probably count on one hand how many episodes we got left together, folks. We are near the end. It doesn't mean the program is going to go away. We're gonna have some other things come out of it, but the Kevin Hinkle story is about done. Yeah, take a couple breaths.
Yeah.
But before we get into whatever we're going to talk about today, we're going to go through the comments from.
There you go again. Did we even decide? We threw against the wall and see if it would stick. That's what we did.
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't even come to a understanding between the two of us whether or not what we were doing.
Yeah, that's how we do best.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's how we do best. So there is one comment that we got from 2 episodes ago. So I want to make sure I read that. And I will admit straight up that we don't normally monitor all the past episodes. I don't know what comments are getting thrown in. win. So I apologize now if you're like, whoa, you went back and read it and somebody had posted 3 episodes ago and we haven't. But that is what it is.
Okay, here's the deal. Shut up. Here's the deal. Before Kevin reads it. So we recorded, and then the next morning, this popped up as on my YouTube studio. So this is the first time I've caught it. So that's why we discussed it, and we're going back and commenting on it, because it was the first time I had actually seen this happen. Not to say you hadn't done it, first time I caught it. Right,
Indeed.
Kevin?
Indeed,
So,
yes.
Again, perfect Angel Kevin is not at fault here. It's the big old devil down in Florida. Sorry.
I mean, even though we are getting near the end of it, I'm reminiscing about certain things. Like I was actually just thinking today about how when we started this program, like I would build and sort during it and stuff. And it was interesting because I'm like, wow, I must have really been just in a different place in my mind to be able to just ramble on while I'm like, while my hands are putting something together or they're sorting pieces. And over the last 20, 30, 40 episodes, as the subject matter gets more real and more current, I guess, like, we're no longer going, well, 10 years ago, like we're talking like, well, last year. So it's like, I'm like, no, I'm not necessarily able to just mindlessly do, but so I was thinking about that. And something else I was thinking about was one of the earlier episodes. I don't even remember. We're going to have a clip show, right? That's what you do at the end. You have a clip show of all the great moments.
Well, we need someone to edit a clip show for us.
Yeah, make the clip show. You got this, Doc? Doc, you got this.
Doc will put me drinking too much in there. Watch Virtual News About the Community by Doc Sampson over on his channel.
It was so good. It's so good every time.
Greatest whatnot you ever met. Felt like
but yeah, I was remembering when we were first talking about comments, which was forever ago. And I remember that, like, at some point you said something like something about the ownership on me to answer the comments, and I was like, Julian, it's your YouTube channel. I can't like.
Oh, right, but yeah.
I was like, I don't even get an alert.
They're asking you, Kevin.
I know, like, I totally appreciate the fact that like 99% of the questions were directed towards me, but I was like, I don't know how to, unless I actively log into your channel every day and go to every video you post. I'm like, I don't think this is gonna work for me. But I was just thinking about that earlier. So
I took him to task, folks. That's why he answers the questions live,
which I enjoy doing.
I think it's probably one of the best parts about this show, personally.
Good stuff. So that comment that we did get from a couple episodes ago was from our dear friend Bone Shaker.
You can't miss him.
And Bone Shaker said, "I hope I'm not too late to have this read on the next episode."
You were.
I don't know when you record. And hey, neither do we.
Nope. The pandemic has completely threw that right out the window.
Kevin, when you were taken into a room where they violated your privacy and they told you not to tell. There's a word for that, Kevin. I think it's called, well, there's a couple words. He said there's a word for that. And then he said, you need to tell an adult. So, there you go. Thank you for your comment.
That's beautiful, Bone Shaker. Couldn't ask for anything better. Glad you waited 2 weeks for us to see.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Good stuff. All right.
Yeah, I feel like you were violated as well. I ain't joking with you, man.
I mean,
mentally, I really don't see. Again, God Almighty, bless it. I don't see how something completely unrelated to what you were doing, anyone has any right to tell you what to do. I work as a juvenile corrections officer. Done it for 20 years. Had a YouTube channel for 6. They don't tell me I can't have my YouTube channel. Instagram. They can't tell me I can't have my Instagram.
What would you? Okay, hypothetical.
Yeah.
Your boss tells you tomorrow.
Yep.
You can no longer have a YouTube channel.
Right.
What do you do? I
stop playing on YouTube long enough to get a lawyer.
There. sounds about right. It's like, I'll stop this for the moment.
I will
Why?
stop enough to make sure the lawyer says I actually, this is definitely, and if we can get and if I can get money, I'm going to get money, then I'm going to quit, and I'm going to get back on YouTube.
I love it. That's actually, yeah, there you go. There it is, folks.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, let's get through our comments from last week.
YouTube and Lego are my thing.
Yeah. Hey, you remember when we used to have guests on this show? All right, let me go through the comments.
Do we? No, not us.
Once upon a time.
Well, that's your
All right, our first comment.
You
know, it all fell.
Go ahead.
Just gonna stake. It all fell apart when I had a guest that I wanted to bring on, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'd like to, but I'm not gonna be available for about a month or two." And I was like, "Okay." And so I was like, I was willing to wait because I felt like at that time it was I really enjoyed like interjecting guests that seemed relevant to this like timeline.
Yes.
And I really wanted him to come on the show. Not that I don't want him to still come on the show, but I was like, I'm gonna wait till. But we had to keep going, so we're recording, and then he just never replied. All right, moving on. So our first comment.
You just heard Brickstar's feeling. He was on like 3 weeks ago.
He was like a guest host.
Guest host, fine, whatever. You guys did great. By the way,
he's so much like family. I don't consider him a guest.
I understand completely.
All right. Our first comment was from Ken Marlowe Briggs. Ken says, now that I have found the job I hope to retire from, it gives me a good reality check to hear these stories about 10-plus year employees being the first to suffer layoffs. Sad that the story is nearing the end, but excited to see what the next part of Forever Sorting will be. Also, Kevin, in reference to my question last week, will you make the post that the Lego group forced you to delete public again? I was referring to all of them, especially the older ones from art school, like the stop motion videos. Would love to see those. So
if they're not unlocked, get your ass in gear and unlock them, Kevin.
I definitely want to get like the stop motion stuff back up again. So I'll probably do that. I'll probably because I have the files, right? Like I don't need like.
You're logged on one of your YouTube channels, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean a good number of them are on there. They're just private, and
turn them on.
Yeah. So the short answer is yes. They will be shared with the public. Matthew has actually been asking me for years, I guess for 2 years, to be putting Bricks in the Middle Volume 1 up, which there was like 10. I think there was 10 comics from Volume 1 before we had to pull it. And I'm a lot more comfortable. Every day that goes by, I'm more comfortable to put Volume 1.
We had an early discussion about this, and he's like, he grins at, he gives me that, and he goes, I don't know, maybe in a couple of years. Kevin, it's been a couple of years.
It's been a couple of years, and so here we are. Short answer is yeah, that stuff will all come back and in some way, form or another.
Can I just mention that Kevin's complexion is gorgeous?
Is it really?
Yeah, I'm looking at my pasty ass face, and I'm looking at your face, and I'm like, wow, man, I wish my skin was that color and that had that sheen and that beauty to it.
This is just my $8 iTunes webcam setting app. I don't know. I can't change. It's great though, because see, when we logged in, what you saw when I first that's like the default.
Yeah.
And I click the button saying, remember that $8 app I bought that like lets me adjust settings?
Yeah.
It immediately remembers what was the last one. And so yeah. You know what? Thank you.
Hey, no problem, brother.
All right.
Sorry, folks. I just want to give Kevin
he just got lost. He got lost in my eyes.
There it is.
Don't be jealous, BFAB. All right.
Oh.
The next.
Does BFAB watch this one?
I think he does. All right. Next comment is from Bricksar. Just speaking, right? We're just speaking. Says, starting with a Bill and Ted reference, going to be a great episode. Was it? All right, let's keep.
Where?
Interesting. Duju20 says to say, good one, guys. Keep up the good work. I like the dots. There's a lot of dots. Let's see. Brickstar came back. Then he listened to the episode and he put a couple more comments in. He says, Lego is Lord business. They crackle their models. I listened to the Beyond the Brick interview with Alyssa. I listened to that as well. And one of the panelists made a stealing Lego joke. I was like, come on, man. It was the typical thing. No ill intent, of course. But I thought of previous episodes of Forever Sorting and the inordinate amount of times people joke like that. And so I did see that comment earlier before we did, so I replied to it. And so I said, I'll just read my comment again.
There you go. I like it.
And so I said, I never think those comments ever come from a bad place. It's just a working theory as to why there is such fear about hiring AFOLs into the company. It could be a trigger. And of course, now that I mention it, you're going to keep noticing it more and more. It's just like, buying a car. You start to see your car all the time.
Oh, yeah. We got a white Toyota Camry.
And you just see them all the time.
My wife put stickers on ours so she could figure out which one it was in the parking lot, because there's 8 white Camrys about the same year model in the parking lot at her work.
Yeah. Yep. It's amazing.
Well, we got stickers now, so we know which one's ours.
Yeah, and now everyone else is going to have stickers too. They start putting stickers on.
Well,
but
ours
it's
is
something.
lightning bolt. Sorry.
Oh, Harry Potter lightning bolt?
Yeah,
right.
Go right over its right eye.
Did you say stupid lightning bolt?
Yeah, I'm not a Harry Potter fan.
Got it. So yeah, it's by no means, and I went into detail on this when I first brought it up forever ago. It's by no means a definitive, I don't know a definitive feeling. It was just, it's my own personal working theory, because I'm like, I don't understand why so many people in the company are just so afraid or against hiring AFOLs. And you see it time and time and time again. There's more examples than you can really understand about fans that either just straight up don't get hired, or they get terminated because they're discovered to be fans, and then magical reasons present themselves, which make no sense.
I'm really sick of that.
And then also just
time that's happened to my friends.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of really.
I know you know more, but I'm just saying, like, as an AFOL out here going, I mean, it's just
just people that don't. I mean, the people that just don't deserve it. They don't deserve it.
That is true.
So, but yeah, it's one of those things that I at one point was like, I wonder if that's it, because it's something that I notice a lot, and it just seems to come up over time and time again when people are talking with Lego representatives in some way, shape, or form. It just seems like those jokes are constant, like jokes about, how much Lego can you put in your pocket, or can I have those pieces off the floor, and just like stuff like, I don't know. It could mean nothing. It's just, that's like something I'm like, is that part of it? I don't know. Let's see. Next comment is from Fazoom.
That's Chris Gibbs, for you guys that don't know. He created a Lego set a few years ago.
He did do this.
See, I want Chris to get all the credit all the time. What?
Yeah, hey. Deserves it. So he said, good episode, Office Space and Bill and Ted references. Yay. I'm amazed how Lego squandered the Lego movie popularity, scuttled the employee team that got them there, then took a dump on the loyal employees. Who fires Dan or Kevin? Facepalm.
That part.
Well, yep.
There it is.
There it is. Okay. We got a comment from Brick Blaze.
And
Blaze says, once this series is over, we need a box set with all the episodes plus behind the scenes footage and all the deleted scenes where the juicy stuff is.
Oh, well, that's not recorded. That's not recorded.
Is there money to be made here? Is there money to be made?
I don't know if there's money to be made, but we'll definitely make the community happier putting it on a box set.
Well,
that's a fact. Hey, why don't we just download it and put it on flash drives for the next show?
Oh, great. Just pass out flash drives and goodie bags.
There you go.
Blockhead UK
Yes.
says redundancies are never pleasant, but the atmosphere and manner in which they conducted this cull seems particularly hideous. Yeah, it wasn't good.
Not a fan.
Doc Sam.
No, seriously, no, hang on.
Huh?
It literally, again, like we were saying, and like it feels like the Lego movie where Lego is Lord Business. Do they just need a hug? No.
So they just need a hug.
And you can tell me who I know who the president of the Lego Group is, blah 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 or whatever. But do you? I mean, sometimes depending on
because it actually changes every couple of years now.
I used to know. I remember watching a documentary where the guy came in and saved Lego, but that's whatever. But no, but the Hatchet Man that I see. Like, okay, in my mind, I see you and 2,000 people running for your effing lives and being chased by Tormund with a hatchet. That is, anytime we talk, that is what I see. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And I mean,
that's the mental image you have. It's great.
Yeah, you need to draw that tomorrow morning.
I mean, maybe.
I'm going to put that right now.
Is it with the theme?
The theme. What's the theme? I forgot.
Cartoons.
Absolutely. Yeah, do it all in cartoon form.
We can make it a cartoon. All right. Our next comment from Doc.
Sparks? How about chasing sparks?
Oh, that sounds pretty appropriate. Doc says, gone through the layoffs one too many times and a crying emoji. Doc knows. Yeah. Shy Time says, okay, what actor should play Kevin's based on a true film? I say based because it's going to be a musical. And it's official. I've listened to every single episode as of today. That's amazing. I did go from episodes. So he did 30 to present.
Okay.
And then he went back and did 1 to 30.
Okay.
But in the time frame, I've walked 490 miles delivering mail. Incredible. Wow. Thank you for filling that time by sharing your stories and filling my day with a mixture of emotions. Not looking forward to the end. Thank you for doing that. That's incredible. I mean, that's a lot of stuff to listen to.
Oh, I wonder how far it is from my house to your house, Kevin. He's probably walked He's about walked halfway between our houses now.
That's kind of that's kind of cool. You could figure that out.
Yeah, we can figure that out. It's super easy, yeah.
All right, and our last two comments are from Strawbricks.
Chief.
And he says, layoffs. If you're in the corporate world for any length of time, you will see or be a part of layoffs. Always keep the resume up to date and keep in touch with coworkers who have moved to other firms, aka keep that network fresh. Yeah. Remember, loyalty is only a one-way street, you to them. If you ever get an opportunity to jump to another firm, take it. Getting a counter offer from your existing firm will 95% of the time backfire on you. Either promised perks /help /etc. won't materialize, or they'll be looking for a cheaper replacement in short term. Also, jumping from firm to firm is almost the only way to achieve larger increases in money and get promoted quicker. We want to hear about that time the office took away the time the office took away sugar. We should talk about that. And then his other comment was Bain, maybe Bain Capital, Mitt Romney's old firm. The now senator from Utah fired Kevin. It is easier to fire Americans because of employment at will laws. Guess who sponsored / wrote those laws? That's the reason corporations don't like unions. The corporation would then possibly need a valid reason for the firing. It's interesting that cops could have unions, but they are bad for other workers. I think we need a table of contents or index for this show. This way, when Kevin gets to one of these FAQs, he can say, episode 27, timestamp 3506. That's pretty good. Yeah. And thank you. Keith is doing quite well, I think, of course, I am positive using his own experiences, his own personal take on everything, but just kind of like neatly bundling it up and being like, here you go, rest of the viewers, here's some life lessons you should have learned from this one.
Yeah.
He's right on the money. He's right on the money every time. And that's, I would say one of the hardest pills to swallow, it still is thinking that any company really, because, you know, if it's going to happen at Lego, it's going to happen anywhere.
Sure.
It's going to happen anywhere. It's going to happen everywhere. Is that any company, regardless of how much you pour your soul into it, is not at the end of the day going to care. And that's just like, that's such a hard pill for me to swallow. I'm just so used to thinking that you pour so much time and loyalty and energy and hours of your life, and that it's noticed and rewarded, and it really isn't. It's just like that is so difficult for me to understand.
I want to interject here, and I've stayed quiet about this for a very long time. I wasn't fired, but I put 15 years in with the state of Florida and Department of Juvenile Justice.
It's a long time.
And I ate crap every day. And I used the statement, I bleed blue, because our uniforms were blue. I bleed blue, meaning it's job over everything.
Yeah.
Firmly believe it helped with my the end to my first marriage, and subsequently give me post-traumatic stress disorder to some degree. I'm not saying like I went off to war, but there are things that I can't do anymore or send me out. I mean, I didn't used to have a problem with a lot of people or large spaces, Kevin.
Yeah.
That was a new thing I got in the last 20 years. But I'm just saying that, and he is right on the money, Kevin is, as far as the putting forth that effort. I got plaques, I got pins, I got employees of the month, and at the end of the day,
it doesn't matter.
The last thing I signed when I quit, when I put my 2 weeks, it was a write-up because I missed too much work.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
And it was on my last day. On my last day of work, I signed a write-up because the boat kept chugging along.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, sorry.
And everybody thinks, oh, as soon as I'm gone, it's gonna fall apart. Everyone. Yeah. Like, as soon as I'm gone, this place is gonna. It's like, no, it's fine. They'll find somebody. There's always somebody that's sitting there, literally rubbing their hands, waiting for that opportunity to pop up, and then they're in. But it's just like it's a hard pill for me to swallow, because just like you, I mean, I was in meetings. I was in meetings in Lego where people would introduce me as Mr. Lego. Now, I mean, like, think about this. In a room with Lego employees, and they would call me Mr. Lego. Like, you know, and like people would be like, oh, like they'd introduce me to like licensing would bring over, like Lego licensing would bring over Scholastic, and they would introduce me because I'm the community guy. And they'd be like, Kevin is probably like the most dedicated person we have here. I think he bleeds bricks.
There it is.
And but in the end of the day, doesn't matter. None of that matters. But it's just like, that's just hard. It's hard pills for me to swallow. I'm like, why is it like that? It shouldn't be like that. And I feel like it's not like that. Maybe, well, it's not like that when you work for yourself, because you don't do that to yourself. Well, hopefully you don't do that to yourself. You know, like that list that and also like Keith said, you know, when those other opportunities come up, take them. I mean, I had tons of stuff thrown my way, and I'm like, I'll never leave Lego. And I'm like, maybe that was foolish to think that, because I mean, people tried to poach me left and right, you know, and it was just like, I look at some of the people that are either still there or very successful, and they're the ones that have left the company 3 times. Like, they leave and they go do something else, and then all of a sudden they come back and they're now in a higher role, and you're like, but that person left. I don't understand why that person is being rewarded. They left. Yeah. Like, I mean, and these are things that I talked about with tons of colleagues all the time. Like, we had jokes about how, like, one of my Danish colleagues had a joke about how sometimes you just have to leave in order to get a promotion. Because there were so many people that you would see leave the company altogether, and they'd be gone for half a year or whatever, maybe more, 2 years, and then they come back, and now they're 2 levels higher than they were when they left, and you're like, what? And you talk to them, of course, and they're pretty business savvy people. Sure. And they're like, oh, well, I wanted to get promoted. They wouldn't promote me, so I left. And then I got a promotion somewhere else. And then I came back and said, now you'll promote me. And they did. It's like, that's dumb. Yeah. That's just stupid. It shouldn't be that way.
It shouldn't have to be that way. Yeah.
But it is. So whatever.
Yeah.
It just is. It just is. But yeah, I mean, because those, Keith, your comments on the last couple episodes have been kind of right on the money.
Yeah.
Those are the overarching takeaways.
Deep thoughts by Straw Bricks.
Deep thoughts by Straw Bricks. We're done. That's the last one. The last one is we're done.
We're done.
It's the very last takeaway. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely, I mean, near the end of this tale, and I mean, I was done talking about it months ago.
Are we really, or do we want to just keep on pushing and see what happened post Lego, or is this just,
Well, I would be very curious if people are interested. Now, here's the thing that I think about that. Post Lego. Well, I should say this. Post Lego up to my active involvement in the Lego YouTube community, not very long. Like it was it was from December to April. Like that was all. So I feel like I get that we have new friends come along and people are like, oh, but like, it's like me sitting there going, Julian, do you want to recap your last 4 years on YouTube? Like, probably not. It's like people can find it. There's resources out there. There's a gazillion hours of live streams you can watch. So I got
at least 52 hours of live streams.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I don't ever want to come across that I'm like, no, I don't want to talk about anything. But it's just like there's not a lot of time that's like mystery. It's like like I can talk about immediate feelings and what I was gonna do, what I plan to do, and my one and only trip that I did, which was the Bricks at Sea. Well, I mean, it was Bricks at Sea, and then it was Brick for Alabama because Todd's like, I need you to work for me. I was like, okay. But I mean, we can talk a little bit about that, but I don't think it's gonna be a lot of stuff. So yeah, so there's not a lot left. I want to once again stress, I got to be sounding like a obnoxious broken record, but if you guys do have questions about anything, decisions that Lego does that you don't understand, why do they do that, or why is it this way, why does that marketing campaign use this strategy, why does Lego partner with that retailer to do that giveaway and they don't partner with that, like this is the chance to do it as we approach the end, as we only have a couple episodes left. I think we'll probably do some special stuff on the very end. Just the Rhino. Hashtag Just the Rhino. If you've been around from the beginning, you should know hashtag Just the Rhino. If you look and find the very first photograph ever of Julian and myself together next to each other in real life, you'll know hashtag Just the Rhino. Philly Brickfest 2018. 2018.
What, 4 months after the Band-Aid got ripped?
4 months. I still, I mean, that was risky. That was risky for me to go to that show. I was like, do I want to? Do I want to do this? Like, I was like, am I just going to, whatever. I'm getting ahead of myself. So, I mean, so there's a little bit.
There is some post after. Maybe not 2 years, but maybe
not 2 years. We don't need to go 2 years. If I have to explain the last 2 years, then I'm doing a really bad job at marketing myself, and we need to step it up. Which I'm already like, I feel like I'm posting every day on every platform, and it's just like, man.
Oh, speaking of every platform, if you're not following Bricksmith78 at TikTok, go do it now. Let me tell you something, man.
In my head, Doc just said, "Oh dear Lord." In my head, that's what
Doc's got one too, but don't tell anybody.
Does he?
Yeah.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe he didn't say that then.
He's like, it's about time, Brick Smith. No.
Maybe he said that. Yeah, maybe he said that.
Brickstar's got one too.
Does he really?
Yeah,
I know Joey does.
Oh,
I
yeah,
know
Joey got one. Yeah, Joey was my first
talk
follower.
or whatever you call it.
Yeah, he's my first follower. Turns out, I have a 15-year-old daughter. Turns out that I'm doing as good or better than she does on TikTok after 2 posts.
Oh, that maybe might make her feel angry.
It does. I don't know if anger is the word, but she's definitely angsty about
There's
it.
emotion.
There is. Always.
Yeah. I like it. Joey always posts his TikToks, but then he just reposts it to everything else. So I'm like, oh, I don't need to go there. I can just see it on Instagram and Twitter and all that kind of good stuff.
TikTok's I'm enjoying the videos and stealing them and using the music of actual people. Like I rickrolled everybody earlier. That was fun. Anyway, sorry. Listen. You're going to get it. You're going to get an event. You're going to enjoy the events of TikTok for Bricksmith than you will more than just my Instagram posts because
if you really want to get the full Bricksmith experience,
you can without actually being in the house wet.
Then you need to have all the platforms on the ready.
Yes.
I'm
sorry for recruiting, Kevin. I know this is all about you.
No. Yeah. So I don't want to just because today peek behind the curtain it is a little late. I actually have something I got to do, and so I do want to just give you guys a little bit because I feel guilty if I give you nothing. So you need to have a little bit of progress in the story. So I'll give you a little bit. So that's my precursor. Just getting a little bit today, but also
un poquito.
Also know that I mean. No more. There is no more than 5 episodes left. Probably less than that. So we're near the end. Thank you guys for listening to all of this, and please think back, reflect on the last couple years. What are those questions that you've been just waiting to ask?
What has Kevin said yet that you want to hear?
Yeah, because I'm not opposed to answering questions when they come up, but this was another attempt to kind of get all that out there and be done with it. And then you close the book and you move on. So I mentioned that the layoffs started happening and they were affecting everybody. And it was really bad and it was gross and awful. And I left you guys off on, well, how does it affect us? How does it affect community? Right. So that day did come. That day did come. And it was a meeting invite from the vice president of our area of the business, which was at the time Lego switched. I guarantee you it's probably not even named this anymore because they switch all the names pretty much every year. Marketing and consumer experiences. So that was our area of the business was marketing and consumer experiences. That's where community fell underneath with social media, and consumer services was actually in there too. Consumer services, we kind of all felt consumer services included that they kind of got a bad deal being roped in with us because you have this giant group of all marketing people and then you've got customer service. And customer service is just not marketing. It's not marketing. It is customer service.
Right.
And so they always kind of got the short end of the stick because when you would look at division goals, they'd be like, well, how on earth is consumer services going to do this? It's they can't. So, but they were there with us. And so the vice president of that area started throwing out all the invites. And of course, they don't come from him. They come from his secretary.
Sure.
Which would be, is that an executive assistant at that point? I think it is. Yeah. Vice presidents have executive assistants.
Sure.
So you would get this thing would ping, and you look down at your phone and it'd be like, Susan Williams on behalf of so and so would like to schedule a one-to-one meeting with you. And so those started all just pinging, like everybody's phone just started going off. And of course they weren't all together. It'd be like, yours is at 9, yours is at 9:30, yours is at 10, yours is at 10:30, yours is at 11. And so everybody started getting those pings. And then well, not everybody. So some people got the pings from executive assistant on behalf of vice president. The others got messages from our dear friend Tormund.
Oh,
and
dear.
Said, update on right sizing. So again, just going about how the just cluster they execute this. You've got a small team in infield for community. Small meaning 5.
Wow.
5, yes, 5 employees, and out of the 5, 2 of them have meetings with a vice president, and the other 3 have meetings with the director of the department. So we're not stupid, right? So we're sitting there and we go, okay, we don't know what this means, but our guess is you 2 who are meeting with the vice president, you're fired. Those of us that are meeting with just Tormund, I think we're okay. But of course, you're not supposed to know any of that beforehand, right? But that was like 2 or 3 days before. So then, of course, we got 2 or 3 days worth of sickening speculation and just turmoil and mental anxiety and stress. Is just awful. And yeah, it eventually happened, and it went down like we thought it was going to go down. They did have extra security, which was also just kind of like, I get it, but it's also like just a kick to the teeth. Yeah. Because they had extra security guards there. Lego always had security guards. They still do, but they usually have like, I don't know, 2 to 3 guards for the whole campus at any given time. And they had like 10 in the building at that time because they were just so afraid that employees were going to go ballistic when they got let go. Yeah. Which again, I'm sitting there going, if you need to be concerned about that, I don't know if you like who's to blame for this, but whatever. I'm not here to debate all that. But so they had extra security. So that was kind of a fun thing, is watching, your fellow coworkers and colleagues be told no, and then HR and a security guard would walk them to their desk to make sure they're not going to lose it. And I'm just like, it was just awful. So that did happen. That morning happened. The people that met with the vice president were out. And the people that met with Tormund were in, but we didn't know, like, okay, these humans are out, these humans are in, but what in the world does this mean? Yeah. Like, what does this mean for the department? What does this mean for our area of the business? Like, there was no information on like what happens next. Mm-hmm. And so that was when we had an immediate meeting set up for, I think, the next week about the future of the community team. And we were all still going to be there because anybody who was laid off, they of course went home that day, but they were not laid off. They were not out until the end of the year. So we're talking about I think we're in October. And so you still had a couple months. Wow. So everyone's still around, and you can imagine it like doesn't get any better. So you have these people that are already out and miserable and depressed and crying and emotional, and they're still required to be there and just like whatever. But this is where I'm going to leave you guys on, because this is the perfect place to leave you on. So without getting into all the nitty gritty details of who's here, who's out, because I'm not going to get on that here. But we went into our meeting of the future. What does the future mean? And we're all of us, those of it that are told are out, those that are told they're in, we're all in this room, and it's global. So of course we're on the phone because we're listening to Denmark, we're listening to China, everybody's on it. And our fearless leader says a statement that I just about fell out of my chair when I heard it. And I did say something that I immediately regretted saying. So we were sitting there and he said, I want to congratulate all of you because of how incredible a job you and this department has done working with and fostering just a wonderful relationship with the Lego fan community over the last 20 years.
Awesome. Do we want to leave it right there?
No, not almost.
Okay.
Almost. And I mean, he was being totally 100% serious.
Right.
Thank you all for that. You guys have done such a good job that we don't need you anymore. And that we feel as though the community has been so well managed that it can now manage itself. And I should point out rather uncharacteristically of myself, unmuted the microphone and said, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
You said that out loud?
I said it out loud.
Kevin.
I mean, we're all thinking it.
Kevin.
I can't, like, that's where I'm going to end you guys today. It did happen. I had immediate regret.
Kevin.
But it's still the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
But Kevin.
The absolute stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Wowzer.
You guys have done such a good job. We don't need you to do it anymore.
But Kevin.
Yes.
You can't say stuff like that, Kevin.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
Hey, I spent 12 years not saying stuff like that.
Yeah, there's that.
I don't even know what to say. I was just like, I had literally spent the better part of a year in an emotional wreck. And as I told you guys, in like the summer, I was just slugged across the face saying, we know that you're incredibly stressed and under a insane amount of pressure. And guess what? Also, you're not allowed to draw anymore. And like I said, they told me I could draw. I just could. If you're going to tell me what I can't draw, I'm just not drawing is what's going to happen. That's just, I can't, maybe that's dumb. Maybe it's immature.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
That's how I felt.
I feel that way.
And I still feel that way. Like if you're going to tell me as an artist what I can and cannot do, then I'm going to do it. And so I was like, I was in such a weird mental place that it was just, I mean, and it was kind of fun having everybody look at me. I was like, it's still the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But that's it.
I've never heard.
It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It's the stupidest thing.
Oh, goodness, Kevin.
From all of us.
All of you.
Everybody, that's Julian right there.
That's funny. I pick up the stylist and you pick up the Lego. You don't play with Lego, do you?
No. Almost done. I gotta finish these.
But
But thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time for more.
Remember, you gotta love those bricks. Bye, everybody.
Don't say dumb things in meetings.